morning. Welcome back to the leadoff spot alongside Xavier Scruggs. I'm Danny Wexelman in for Steve Phillips again today alongside our producers, Tim and Patrick. X, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Some dangerous teams we have in the major leagues right now. Some great matchups we had yesterday, and somebody was flat out nasty. I know who we'll be talking about on the mound. So I'm excited to get into it with you and excited to be on TV and everybody can see our beautiful faces.
Listen, that's the best part, right? So if you're on MLB Network radio and you're like, I want to see X's mug, I want to see that face, you can turn on MLB Network if you want to see it. Before we dive in, by the way, we go around the bases. Before we start with our single and we talk about all the nastiness from last night, we were just playing Fielder's Choice. And we were talking about the fact that sometimes I don't want to have to choose. I don't want to make the choice. And so it's primarily with breakfast food. If I can just get both, I do. If I want to try both and I can't make up my mind, I just buy both. Like, I feel like that's the logical choice instead of I'm not going to ask the server their favorite and then go against what they wanted. That's an awkward moment. I just get both.
Don't get me started on breakfast, Danny. It's 9 o'clock. I haven't had anything yet but a coffee right now. And I could do French toast, sausage, hash browns, pancakes, biscuits and gravy, eggs scrambled over easy. Doesn't matter. I could do it all right now as we speak. So don't get me started on breakfast. That is my thing. And as soon as this show is done, your boy will be whipping something up in the kitchen here pretty soon.
I'll be taking a fat nap as soon as the show is over. And then I'm going to eat. Then I'm going to eat my heart out before the big game tonight. But you're right. We are going to talk about some of the nastiness in a good way, by the way. Good kind of nasty as we start with our single. Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Colorado Rockies. His fastball is one of the most dangerous and electric pitches in the game. He had 19 swing and misses last night. The four-seamer was on fire. He took a no-hitter into the seventh. And the Pirates win 3-1.
Struck him out looking with a changeup. Strikes out the side in order. He's got 10.
When he's rolling through like that, definitely creeps in where you start to think, you start to see the stuff, the swing and miss. That it could be any night with the stuff that he's got.
Is lined into left center field. Here comes Cruz on the run. He lays out. He doesn't get there. First hit of the game for the Rockies. Moniak delivers it and out into the seventh inning, and Skeens gets an applause from the Pirates faithful.
It all evens out, right? He made a couple really good plays before that and after that, so didn't make that one. I guess I deserve it, but yeah, that was cool. Seeing, obviously, that's probably not a ball that he would normally lay out for, and seeing him lay out, that was kind of cool. But he played a heck of a game.
You heard Don Kelly post-game talking about Paul Skeens. You heard Paul Skeens talking about Cruz laying out and his no-hit bid going all the way into the seventh inning. Then he struck out the first six dudes. I thought it was going to be a perfect game. Like, I legitimately thought that he was throwing a perfect game yesterday just because the swing and miss stuff, the command was there. Nobody was on his fastball. He can throw six other pitches, and it don't matter. What I liked is he would go on to retire 14 straight batters before giving up that hit. It's just fun to watch the idea of this guy's already mastered it. At 23 years old, he's already mastered it. Guys are hitting .094 against the fastball. He don't even need to throw anything else. But he does because he understands his arsenal. He understands how to get the weak contact early. It's really fun watching him because at 23 years old, typically guys are second-guessing themselves, trying to figure out how they want to attack guys. He doesn't have a problem with that. He's already done it, and honestly, since he stepped into the league, it's just been dangerous for every other team, maybe except the Cardinals, but he's been a dominating factor all since his 3-year career.
Yeah, so I did get to see him pitch against St. Louis. It didn't go the way that he wanted, and he didn't look like he had control or command early in that ball game, but adds fuel to the fire, right? Seeing these guys look a little human, I think, is motivating for them. I know it's motivating for Paul Skeens. That's not the way he wants to perform. And what I love is that I feel like there's a little more joy, a few more smiles mixed into him this season. He's rigid. He has a plan, right? He has been routine oriented since before he got to the Air Force Academy. He's got that military background in his family, and he is a leader. He has been a leader. When he got to LSU, he was a leader for those guys. He got to work with Wes Johnson, the pitching coach at the time at LSU, who's at Georgia now as the head coach. Wes Johnson helped shaping him into the pitcher that he is today. And Paul wants to be around the greats. He wanted to play for Team USA. He wanted to be around the best players in the game. He's hungry to throw complete games. He wants to be holding the rock at the end of the game, giving high fives out. And anytime he toes the rubber, man, he has been special. I like the fact that it didn't go his way against St. Louis, and he has bounced back with authority and with thunder. And it's too bad for the teams he's had to face after his start against St. Louis, because it hasn't gone their way. It has gone all Paul Skeens' way so far. Big win for the Pirates, 3-1 over the Rockies. We hit our double. We're talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, winners of 5 straight right now, and their shortstop, Joey Ortiz, going yard for the first time in almost 10 months.
1-2, fly deep, left field. Back goes Laureano, back track, back wall. See you later. Joey Ortiz has left the building. The first of the season for the Brewers shortstop, and Milwaukee strikes first, 1-0.
Joey looked great, and again, the kid's been through a lot. His defense has been fantastic, but he's got to follow it up. It was a great job. We know it's in there. Let's keep going, and I'm really proud of him. Okay, the whole team was so excited for him. That was one of the neat things of today, was to see how the team reacted to him hitting a homer.
That's Pat Murphy talking about Joey Ortiz, who hit his first home run of the season. As Danny noted, he hasn't hit a home run in 10 months. That's 5 straight for the Brewers. But I think what's also interesting, too, is yesterday I thought Brandon Sproat did a nice job in this one, going up against the Padres, who have found a lot of different ways to score runs. The young kid who was obviously traded over to this team from the Mets is finding his stuff. Whenever he commands it, he's able to give himself an opportunity to stay in ball games. He's got a good arsenal. I thought yesterday, bouncing back after that 5th inning in which he gave up 2, his team scored 5. The rest of the bullpen did a very nice job yesterday. I know it got a little dicey towards the end, but seeing Joey Ortiz, who is a light hitting shortstop, extremely slick with the glove, come up with the big swing, and then put up 5 in that 5th inning, man, that is what the Brewers do. It's not going to be a whole lot of slug, but what they do is they do the details. They find ways to put up big innings, crooked innings, and doing it with guys in scoring position and coming up in clutch situation. That was yesterday's ball game for the Brewers, and they've been playing extremely good baseball.
Yeah, they have. So 2 things I want to point out. Number 1, Adam McCalvy, whom, by the way, I love with my whole heart, hit 25 years. Congrats to Adam. I think he got a gold card the other day. But Adam McCalvy, who has covered the Brewers for 2 decades now for MLB.com, shared a note on Twitter X, and he said that Ortiz took BP early yesterday. It went terribly. This is Adam's words, by the way. He saw William Contreras in the cage, thought to himself, I want to be like William today. And then Ortiz said post-game, I think that it worked. And you know what? I love it. I think we heard that from Trey Turner, who last weekend on Friday was taking hundreds of swings, and then he had an 0 for night. The next day, doesn't take a swing and has a 4 for 5 day. And, Cal Raleigh is showering in his uniform, and then he breaks his slump. Like, all these little things in baseball. That's why I love the sport so much. But the other thing I love about the Brewers, and why I think that not only are they always counted out, but they continue to find ways to succeed, is the bottom of their order. Take a look. Go to the box score. Sal Frelick last night drove in 2. You got Joey Ortiz, who went yard. That turns it over. X, you brought that point up earlier. Get the bat back to Bryce Terang. Get that bat back in his hands because he's one of the most dangerous man in the leadoff spot. So I appreciate what the Brewers do, and I know that had to have felt really good for Joey Ortiz to have a night like that.
Oh, I like how you talk about kind of, guys that have to figure things out at the bottom of the order because it makes everybody else better around them. When you have speed on the base pass, when you have a Bryce Terang who can hit in the leadoff spot, but also be a run producer. We know he's got pop in there. We saw it at the end of last year a lot. We're already seeing it at the beginning of this season. OPS sitting around 940. So the production is there at the top of the order. So it helps when guys in that 9 spot get on. And for Ortiz's own confidence, right? Like, when you're struggling as a player, it feels like every single at-bat gets you 0-2. You feel like you're just off balance, that you can't get your best swing off. And to feel something like that reminds you, I got that dog in me. Now it's getting back to repeating that and being consistent with it.
Turn it over, baby. You got to turn the lineup over and you got to be able to pass the baton. And again, that's just a bright spot for Joey Ortiz. Be like William Contreras. That's not a bad motto to have when it comes to handling the lumber. We move on to our triple. If you've heard the story before, the Tampa Bay Rays, they won again. That's it. They won again.
But Tampa Bay moves to 15 games above 500.
You heard a sound there from Kevin Cash of the Rays manager. And look, yesterday they got out to the lead, gave up 5, and ultimately the Blue Jays end up tying it back up. But the way they finish games is so impressive. They're able to score 2 in the 10th. And one of the things that you saw was Taylor Walls, good at bat late in this game, be able to drive in the go-ahead run. And then they needed the extra run. Jonathan Aranda, sacrifice fly. He is a run producer. Like, we need to start recognizing who Jonathan Aranda is because he's someone in the middle of this Rays order that continues to go out there and salivate when it comes to guys in scoring position, guys on third, less than 2 outs. It's the details within the Rays game, and it started with Shane McClanahan, who I thought Al Leiter yesterday on MLB Central did an amazing job highlighting what we've seen from Shane McClanahan, which he's learning to pitch with the off speed. Before, he could lean more on that 98, 99 mile an hour fastball. Now it's not. The changeup, the slider, we're getting 14 swing and miss off the changeup yesterday. Just the ability to pitch more without the velo. And now you're starting to see the velo tick back up. So it gives him an advantage being able to use every single one of his pitches. The arsenal's getting better, and he is now unreal as far as not giving up runs. The streak, I forget what the streak is, but he's got it going. And Shane McClanahan has been one of the biggest reasons why they're getting some good starts to these games.
Yeah, 21 2/3 scoreless innings for Shane McClanahan. I got you. I saw the MLB Network research notes yesterday. It was 16 2/3 going into his start from yesterday. And for him to just continue that trend, and you mentioned it, right? Like, he's been gone for 2 years coming back from injury, and the velo isn't quite there yet. But my favorite quote from him was talking about competing post game. And any manager, any team wants their starter to go out and compete and give your best, even if you don't have your best that day. And let me tell you why I think Tampa Bay is the best team in baseball right now, because their pitching staff has been the best in baseball to start the season. Their starters, their relievers, every guy stepping up in every big moment for them. And it's not just the last week, the last 2 weeks, it's the whole season. And Shane McClanahan is a huge part of what they're doing. The Rays in the offseason dismantled. That's what they do. That's the recipe that Eric Neander and that front office have been running back their playbook. And they traded Shane Baz away. And you wonder, who's it going to be? How are they going to be able to piece it together? You don't have Brandon Lau. You don't have Jake Mangum, right? You don't know what you're going to get out of your shortstop position. And yet here they are. And Kevin Cash, nobody better to manage a group of guys who are either new to him, new to the Rays, or new to the style of play. Managing a team like that isn't easy. So I'm buying stock in Tampa Bay right now. And by the way, their home record is insane. They love playing back at the Trop. Like, don't underestimate the power of home cooking. The dome field advantage, right, is what they call it. So a huge win for the Tampa Bay Rays. They're 16th in 18 games. How about our home run? We talked about the game yesterday with Taylor and McGregor, the Braves and the Cubs, two of the hottest teams in the National League right now. And the Braves pitching staff, led by Grant Holmes yesterday, held the Cubs to 1 hit, and they go on to win this ball game.
And he hits it high and deep to right field, way back to right. Look out of the chop house. Here it comes. It's a 2-run home run, his first as a Brave, and the Braves take the lead here in the 5th inning. Make it 4-2 Atlanta on the long ball by Mike Yastrzemski.
We got some big homers from some guys that, I think hopefully are starting to turn the corner. There's been some signs, so happy for Yaz. Austin probably could have had 2, he hit the ball 106 or something like that in his first at bat.
Braves win it 5-2 over the Cubs. They limit Chicago to 1 hit for the entire game. And the Braves here on May 12th, a season best 16 games over 500.
And I thought Grant did a hell of a job. We put him in a tough spot. Hadn't pitched in, I think, 11 days. Tough assignment, and I thought he threw the ball really well. Didi was tremendous. What a luxury to have a guy that can come in with that kind of power and go multiples, save the rest of the bullpen.
A lot of stuff in this game, but you're a sound from Walt Rice. And first, I will say the ability and what we saw as far as honoring Ted Turner and Bobby Cox yesterday before this game started was it was top notch, really emotional. We got a great view of kind of what was going on there. And I could only imagine being a player and almost feeling uplifted in a sense during that not only just the series itself, because it's 2 of the best in the National League, but just everything that went on there yesterday. I thought that was really cool the way they did that. My son was the one that ran into my daughter's room when I was putting her down to go to sleep real quick that said, "Hey, Austin Riley just hit a jack. Mike Yastrzemski just hit a jack." So I got to run back and forth watching this game. And I'm like, these are the players now that if they're starting to get back to doing some of the things that we've seen them do, because both of them have struggled. And it hasn't been great watching them so far from an offensive production standpoint. But I got about as excited as my son because the Braves offense is already dominant. And if those two are now contributing in this type of way, there's no telling where this offense goes to. So, and I think you need that against a Cubs team who has been obviously great, and you get Grant Holmes able to bounce back after not a great 4th inning, right? But able to get back to his stuff. The bullpen was great, and only giving up 1 hit to the Cubs is unreal. So hats off to the Braves, but this is a series that is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like this is must-see TV right now. You're watching postseason baseball early in May at the moment. I want to talk about that 4th inning really, really quick. So Grant Holmes, who, again, as you heard Walt Weiss say, hadn't pitched in a while, trying to give more length to his team, something he hasn't been able to do. But in the 4th inning, so he gets Conforto to strike out swinging, but Alex Bregman tags him for his 4th home run of the season. That ties the ball game. Okay. Then Ian Happ walks. It's a great at bat by Ian Happ. He works the walk. Seiya Suzuki walks on 4 balls. And then Michael Busch also walks with 4 balls. Moises Ballesteros comes up. He's able to ground out into a force out, makes it a 2-1 ball game, puts the Cubs ahead. And then Dansby Swanson comes up. There's runners on the corners. Okay. The Cubs have that 1-run lead now. And Grant Holmes strikes him out on 3 sliders. So for Grant Holmes to give up those 3 walks, load the bases, give up the go-ahead run, and then get Dansby in the 4th, diffuse all that momentum, that's when Chicago wins. They take those moments early and blow up ball games, and Grant Holmes came in and put a stop to it. That was the ball game in that moment for me, and a huge reason why Chicago was not able to capitalize and continue on. And they didn't have it yesterday. The Braves completely had that ball game, only gave up 1 hit to Chicago, which is really tough to do against one of the best offenses in all of baseball. So great win there for Atlanta.
I mean, those at-bats there in the 5th inning are just another reason why they can be the most dominant offense in baseball. It's guys that had some really good focus. I look at Austin Riley, was able to jump on a pitch immediately, wasn't waiting around, got that first pitch there and blasted it out to left. And then the same thing for Yastrzemski, getting to 3-2, getting late in the count, putting together a good at-bat and still being able to get something to drive. I love guys that are focused on still driving something even when they get to 2 strikes, because it's one swing like that can change the whole course of a game with that 2-run home run. So love that. Another thing too is the Braves now, the lineup gets a little deeper, inserting Ha-Seong Kim back into the fold.
Yes,
great offensively and defensively, a lot of athleticism there. So I think you lengthen that lineup out. He'll take some time, right? But with Dom Smith still doing his thing, with everybody else contributing, I think that eases the process for Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah. Also, a little love to Dom Smith, man. A great human being, and he has tried to contribute in so many ways to so many teams, and I love seeing him succeed. I really do. It's been a blast to watch, and the Braves and Cubs are back at it tonight. You can listen to every single game, by the way, home and away broadcasts on SiriusXM. We got you covered here. Just search the team name, and you can find the broadcast that you want to listen to. When we come back, we got to talk about the Giants and the Dodgers. The ending of this one a little bit different than the day before. We'll tell you how it all went down yesterday when we come back on the Leadoff Spot. What's up, friends? Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I'm Danny in for Steve alongside Xavier Scruggs and our producers, Tim and Patrick. You got to look at Dodger Stadium right now if you're watching on MLB Network. The Dodgers fell to the Giants last night, back-to-back losses for the Dodgers to the San Francisco Giants in the last 2 days. And it's been kind of tale of two stories right now. The Dodgers, you know, there's zero panic within that clubhouse. I guarantee you nobody internally is worried about what's going on with this team. But on the outside, there are some concerns about the skid that they've been on. These losses to the Giants yesterday, it's 6-2. On Monday, it was 9-3. Monday was 9-3. So the way that they've been able to kind of outmatch the Dodgers right now, while the Dodgers are kind of trying some new things. Mookie Betts is back for this team, and they just haven't been able to produce enough runs and support their pitchers right now. Yamamoto yesterday not able to get the job done, but the Giants taking advantage here right now, playing some better baseball.
Well, look, I'll give credit to the Giants, because anytime you face Yamamoto, that is a tough task. And Eric Haas, the swings he had yesterday reminded you that this dude need to be in the order on a daily basis. And to see him be able to get some pitches, whether it be in on the hands, and you see it on MLB Network right there, getting inside the baseball, using the backside, and just being able to take some good at-bats. I think that's what we've seen with the Giants the past couple of days. That's been on the converse of the Dodgers, is not coming up in those clutch situations that you typically see them doing so, and not playing, you know, the small ball when I don't want to say small ball, but not playing the detail oriented runner on second. Let's make sure we driving him in, or going to the opposite field, runner on third, less than 2 out. It's the manufacturing of the runs that we haven't seen the Dodgers do typically over the past couple of weeks now. So when you look at the Giants pitching and Hauser going out there and figuring things out after that first inning, okay, now I can start to cruise, because guys are getting outside of themselves a little bit for the Dodgers. The Giants, I give them all the credit. Great swings. Bader, another really good swing yesterday too. Offense we saw from the Giants, in which they need that to support that pitching staff.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you have to credit the plan, right? You can prep all day. You can get these guys ready on the pitching side of things to prepare for an offense that is dangerous 1 through 9. Truly, any guy in the Dodgers order. I think what's wild is seeing like Max Muncy and Andy Pages in the bottom of the order as 2 of their most consistent bats to start the season, and haven't really moved those guys around. But for the Giants to have a plan of attack and execute the plan of attack, they've limited the Dodgers to 7 runs this season heading into the game yesterday, and still able to limit damage yesterday as well. So the plan is being executed. That's what it comes down to. And for a new staff, for Tony Vitello, who is a new manager, it's his rookie season managing this team and still taking in a lot of information. He's certainly learned a lot having to face the Dodgers so many times.
I mean, it's going to be a learning experience throughout the course of the year. And I think he understands you can't get too high or too low. Obviously, emotionally, within 60 game season for Tennessee or a college team, it's easy to ride a high and almost be emotional throughout the course of the season. This is, hey, I've got to stay even keel. I've got to show my guys that I'm still manning the ship. I think guys have respected that. We've had Matt Chapman on here talking about, that he knows the team's going to go through the ups and downs. And really, they haven't gotten the play out of their superstars that you would really want, right? Whether that be Chapman, Adames, Devers, so until then, it's really hard to evaluate what this team ultimately looks like. So good for them last night, being able to close this one out. Big situation there in the 8th inning, I believe it was. Max Muncy up with bases loaded too. They're able to get him out on strikes, and that give them momentum to close out the game. So a lot of it is finishing games for the Giants and figuring out how are we going to lock things up once we are ahead and this offense starts to get going.
Yeah, the other thing too, quick note, is Bryce Eldridge, right? Bryce Eldridge, who came back up to play for the team, first baseman, has a ton of power. It's tough, I'm sure, when you're young and you're with the team last year. It's so exciting. And then your position is taken up by Rafael Devers, and the DH spot is also taken up. So I'd like to see him get some more playing time. If you're going to bring somebody up, you can't let your rookies sit. You can't let your sophomores sit. It doesn't work. They need consistent playing time. So the Giants need to find a way to get him more at bats. I think that will help lengthen the lineup and help their offense right now, especially in a time where you can take advantage. So a great win for the Giants over the Dodgers. They've won the last 2 games, 5 now against LA this season. So it's been very impressive to start the year for San Francisco against the back-to-back defending champs. When we come back, we've got a special guest. The Cardinals manager, Ollie Marmol, is going to join us right here on MLB Network Radio and MLB Network. The Cardinals, big win yesterday